Peace and blessing, everyone. Happy Saturday. Greetings of peace, universal greetings of peace and blessings to you. Assalamu alaikum. And this is your On Point Weather Report live here on streaming on New Freedom Exchange on Facebook and YouTube, and also the New Freedom Network, also on YouTube, and the Muslim Journal News, also on YouTube channel as well. We're live. It is Saturday, January the 24th. Time now is 10:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9:55 p.m. Central Standard Time. Checking in with everyone on this Saturday evening and coming live with a community check-in tonight. We're doing a community check-in on Winterstone Fern. For those who have questions and comments, we will take questions and comments throughout tonight's brief, this community check-in. And wherever you are watching, we ask that if you are where you're watching from, to let us know in the comment section by giving us a comment, and we'll shout you out and recognize you on the platform as we engage tonight. And we always ask for you to share in this experience tonight by sharing the live stream to your friends and family members, and let them know that we are live and that we are discussing a community check-in with the Winterstone Fern, and any updates and taking any questions from folks tonight on the platform live. So we are sharing as we speak. We are sharing in this stream, and we ask you to do so as well on your end, to share as well. And like I said, we are taking questions throughout this short live stream tonight. So if you do have questions, let us know so we can get them answered for you. We want to get them answered for you and get the possible answers for you, as you might have some questions as it relates to this winter storm that's impacting a little over 280 million people across the country, and it's already going, and it's going on, and it's already having its impacts being felt across Texas, Dallas, into Arkansas, and now getting into the Tennessee Valley and parts of the South, and already spreading some precipitation into the Mid-Atlantic region as we speak for tonight. So while we greet everyone who has come and watching now, if you are watching wherever you are watching from, let us know where you're tuned in from by saying, giving us a comment in the comment section. We are also going to, again, take any questions that you may have tonight on the stream. And we're going to share some updates tonight to folks. So if you're just tuning in, we greet you and thank you for tuning in to the On Point Weather Report. And we ask that you share the live stream. And we ask that if you put in the comment section any questions, comments, and concerns, we will get them answered as soon as possible tonight. And I am just going to make sure that we are sharing this also, and I forgot to share this to my other piece here. So let me do that. And while I do that, we're going to share this too, and then we're going to get started. Give me 1 second, and let me see, put that in there for the people, and we'll get started. So good evening, everyone, and I hope that everyone is doing well on this evening. Oh, that didn't share. Why is that not sharing? Hold on 1 second. 1 second, and we'll share out. We need to share this. There we go. This is for everyone. Free access. Okay, here we go. Perfect. That's done. All right. Good evening, everyone. Again, welcome to your On Point Weather Report. Thank you for tuning in. Tonight is a community check-in, so we are taking any questions that you all have tonight. In addition to sharing live updates about Winter Storm Fern, we're going to show some radar right now and let folks know where Winter Storm Fern is in terms of its impacts and its development as we speak. So let's queue up our radar here and let you all see what is happening with Winter Storm Fern as we speak. 1 second here. I don't like that radar. Let's try getting a radar from this site here. And as we do that, we're going to get a site up and a site to show you. There we go. Let's see. Let's do this. No, we need a US map. A whole US map. Excuse me. All right, let's do it. Again, I'm not too crazy about this radar. Let's see. Come down. There we go. Let's do this one. I like this radar here. Let's see. Excuse me. Let's see. This is not working the way I wanted it to, so excuse me. All right, so here's the latest radar at 10:57 p.m. Eastern Standard Time out of the National Weather Service. Keep in mind that yes, this you might see green on this map, and not necessarily is this rain at all from no stretch of the imagination. Rain definitely towards the further southern portion of the United States, getting into Alabama and southern Alabama, southern Mississippi. This is all wintry precipitation, snow and mixed precipitation. Oklahoma, getting into Missouri, getting into southern Illinois, Indiana, getting into Kentucky and Tennessee, and that's starting to spread on eastward into Tennessee Valley, into the Appalachians, and into the Carolinas and Virginia tonight as we speak. And want to zoom in here a little bit. So again, this is like I said, I'm not too crazy about for you all for this radar because you might not understand it, not seeing the colors, but just to show you where the storm system is for right now and its development. So Fern is doing what it's anticipated, which it being a structure that's expansive in nature with a lot of precipitation. So that low pressure system is coming out the south. It will continue to track towards the Appalachia. It will then weaken, and then we will start seeing a transfer to a coastal low that will develop off somewhere off the Delaware, Virginia area here, and that will track up the coast, and that will give snow and wintry precipitation to the northeast and New England region starting tomorrow into Monday. Right now, we're dealing with the southern feature that is running precipitation, tapped in precipitation from the Gulf of Mexico. We're getting that moisture from the Gulf and the cold air that's coming down straight from Canada, being pulled into the Midwest and pulled straight into the plains in the Tennessee Valley. I'm talking about this is brutally cold temperatures for this region. It is definitely brutally cold in Chicago, Milwaukee, Minneapolis, where it's not snowing, it's brutally cold in those areas. And it will continue to be so during this event and post this event as well for several days for some people as well. So um, that radar, again, just to show some of what we're looking at. I want to show a better radar so you can see some better imagery here. And if we can, well, let's do this. Oh, it took us right to a site. Oh, okay. And remember, we discussed last time this being a long duration of ice and snow that's going to quickly accumulate fast. We're talking about in heavy snow bands in some areas, especially as we talk about the Northeast and New England region, where we'll see that coastal storm develop, start getting into 1 to 2 and maybe even 3 inches of snow per hour, and the precipitation will fall fast. It will fall fast. The same that goes with our ice situation. Will be a long period of ice that will hamper a lot of travel and make travel virtually impossible tomorrow and into Monday in some areas who will still be recovering and still recovering and digging out from Fern. We already have seen massive cancellations at numerous airports across the Northeast, New York City, LaGuardia, JFK, Newark, have all canceled we're talking about 90% flights have been canceled. Charlotte as well has canceled about 80 to 85% of their flights. Dallas Fort Worth has canceled about 80% of their flights. Atlanta is at 47% last check, but again, that's into tomorrow. Once this ice starts to come into Atlanta, city proper, and to the suburbs, and this thing starts to spread moisture continually eastward, expect that Atlanta also will follow suit and canceling more flights out of Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson Airport tomorrow as well. So the airports will be dealing with backlogs even post the storm system. Also to share that New Jersey Transit has canceled its transit system is down for tomorrow. That's been canceled. Also, the speed limit on New Jersey highways has been reduced to 35 miles per hour starting tonight. I mean, overnight tonight into tomorrow. They were reduced to 35 miles per hour due to this massive storm system. We're dealing with a lot of college universities have also canceled classes and programming this weekend, and some have even canceled classes, and some have went remote or canceled classes, period. So check your listings, check your school districts as well for for updates tomorrow and tomorrow night for what Monday might hold, if it's a 2-hour delay or if it's canceled or if it's remote for some places as well. I do see the likelihood that there will be more than likely definitely 2-hour delays, but I do see I do anticipate there will be some cancellations. I do anticipate there will be remote learning tomorrow for locations that have remote learning as access, and for those who have snow days and those things of that nature, the more likely classes will be canceled. Just my thoughts about that as this storm progresses tonight into Sunday, where we start seeing the worst of the weather, especially the ice situation, major ice situation in the South and getting into the Mid Atlantic. And speaking of that, let's just talk about the ice situation. for um, for folks. Let me share this screen. Nope, not this one. We're done with that one. Let me stop that one, and then we'll pull up this one. And yes, so okay, this is ice. Means ice in the light pink. You see light pink, dark pink, and this really dark pink, pinkish color. What this means, from Nashville, Tupelo, Mississippi, getting into uh, northern portion of Louisiana. This is a high risk that this ice event will get more than a quarter of an inch of ice. More than a quarter of an inch ice. We're talking about 2/4 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch, and in some places, this this area in particular, might see an inch of ice in this dark pink color. This is a major ice situation developing that will be developing overnight tonight into tomorrow in this region. This is a major ice situation in northern Mississippi, getting to Tennessee and parts of northern Louisiana. Major ice situation here, no doubt. Jackson, Mississippi, you're on the cusp, but you will get ice in Jackson, Mississippi. Maybe not as much as to the north of you, but you will get enough to make travel treacherous. And this area's basically travel will be definitely treacherous and almost impossible in terms of during the storm, and definitely not advised for any type of travel in this region. And that ice event will spread into the triad of North Carolina, the state of North Carolina, getting to northern portion of South Carolina and getting to the northeastern portion of the state of Georgia. We're talking about another area of a major ice event. We have high pressure sitting at the top in Canada that's pulling down this cold air down the Appalachian Mountains straight into this region. And when we're talking about what they call cold air damming, we're talking about long period of just straight freezing rain and maybe some sleet, but straight long period of freezing rain. That will be proved to be very treacherous roads. Stay off the roads. If any of these areas I just named, Tupelo, Nashville, Charlotte, North Carolina, Greensboro, Winston-Salem, any areas in between this area of North Carolina, central and eastern portion of the state, to stay off the roads tomorrow. It will prove to be very treacherous. Let the road, let the people, maintenance, the city, try to keep up with this major ice event to keep you all safe. Stay home. Stay home. Stay put. Uh, the power of the ice is not to be played with because it doesn't take much in the way of ice to start bringing down tree limbs and power lines. A quarter of an inch of ice is a lot. And you start talking about 2/4 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch to an inch of ice. Now we're talking about probabilities of power outages being somewhat high, um, because of tree limbs coming down on power lines, trees coming down on power lines. The risk of that is there for sure, and it's a high risk, to say the least, that this storm system is to be taken seriously in this area of the country. So please take it serious. Atlanta, you're on the cusp of a ice event as well. The city of Atlanta proper, definitely as you get into the suburbs northeast of the city, it's definitely going to be very treacherous travel northeast portions of the city. So the suburbs just outside the city of Atlanta, but even the city of Atlanta proper, I will be surprised, forecasted to be a quarter or to 2/4 of an inch of ice, even in the city of Atlanta proper, which will cause chaos in terms of travel and in terms of getting around, for sure. Power outages, again to be taken into serious consideration, especially in the northeastern portion of the suburbs of Atlanta proper. But don't be surprised that we see, even in the city itself, we might see some power outages. This is all to be taken into account because of the situation of a period, a long duration or long duration of time of just nothing but freezing rain falling from the sky. So that's very serious to be taken. Now, just to look at some snowfall amounts for those who just have plain snow to deal with from this storm system. Ideally, the areas that are grayed out, those are our ice situation folks like Nashville, Raleigh, this whole part of the Carolinas, Atlanta. You're not getting snow. You're getting the other side of winter precipitation, which is ice. So you don't have to worry about the ice. Us to the north of that, we have to worry about a snow event stretching from Indianapolis, getting to central southern Ohio, getting to central Pennsylvania, getting towards the Hudson Valley, New England, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Boston, New York City, New Jersey, down into Maryland, Baltimore, DC, Delaware as well. We'll get into the action of snow. Now, this again, for a lot of people, especially here in the city, we have had snow in a while. Our last few winters have been pretty spared. We've been pretty spared for wintry precipitation. So, record keeping speaking, um, the last time we seen 6 inches of snow, it was in 2022 in New York City. The last time we've seen a foot of snow has been about 10 years since we've seen the last foot of snow in New York City Central Park. So, um, just to bring it to some historical accounts here, we haven't seen a decent snow event in the city for a while. So this one proves so far that we are heading down that road of definitely plowable, accumulating snow event in the Northeast, big cities, and the New England region, Hudson Valley. Uh, this is in Pennsylvania to be proven to be a significant snow event for these areas. Now, I would like to discuss a little caveats. There's a little caveats to this forecasting as we get towards the Sunday period of time, which basically now we talk about the Northeast and the Mid Atlantic going up to the Northeast and New England region. Sunday going to Monday, in terms of precipitation type, and it's staying all snow for those areas who stay all snow versus areas who may mix with some sleet or freezing rain, which is something that we don't want to see happen because that makes travel even more difficult than it is. And these are just watches and warnings and how bad it could be and severity index. Here we go. And we'll get to snow accumulation in just a second, but this is kind of the radar setup of what we're going to look like for Sunday. And you see all this ice, all this pink, that's ice. Charlotte, South Carolina, just getting Atlanta proper. Atlanta may start out as rain, but as the temperatures crash, that pink is going to start coming into you. And then the snow is starting to get into the northeast region as well. And then eventually we see that the storm system starts to form that coastal low or transfer energy to that coastal low during Sunday afternoon going to Sunday night into Monday. And that's when, depending on where the storm system tracks, a little closer to the coast, a little further away from the coast, um, we could get some mixing along the coast of some sleet, freezing rain during the period of time. Uh, this is, excuse me, this will hold down accumulations in some areas for sure once we talk about, excuse me, sleet or freezing rain on top of the snow. But I like to, there's quite a few caveats here. The caveat here is that when it starts snowing, it's going to start snowing hard. Excuse me. When it starts snowing hard, how fast it falls will dictate how how long how long the sleet and freezing rain will not happen or will let are delayed. What I mean is that the front or the majority of the snow accumulation in New York City and in New Jersey and into DC, Baltimore, and Philadelphia, everybody's going to start out as snow in the beginning, and it's going to come down fast. Once the atmosphere gets to being moisturized, because right now we're dealing with dew points that are low. The dew point is basically the measure of how much moisture is in the atmosphere, how much moisture is available in the atmosphere, basically how wet it is. If you're dealing with zero or a negative, that means it's super dry because this cold is very cold and very dry. Today was cold, dry. The dew point is very low, and so it's going to take just a little bit of time before the snow eventually sticks, not just sticks, but falls from this layer of the atmosphere to the surface. It very well will be snowing on the very top layers of the atmosphere of snow, ice. That's clear, but it's not hitting the surface yet, which is called virga. Virga is when we get precipitation falling from the upper levels of the atmosphere, but it dries up before it gets to the surface, the surface that here on the surface of the earth. So that's to be expected on the onset for a little bit. But once we get moisturized up, and the atmosphere gets moisturized up, it's gonna be off to the races. The snow is gonna come down fast, and when it starts coming down fast, we're talking about 1 to 2 inches per hour, locally 3 inches of snow per hour, and that means we're going to accumulate it fast because this snow here is fluffy in nature. Fluffy. This is not the snowball type of formation weather. For that, you need a wet snow. This is a more fluffy kind. So it's just gonna it's gonna be easy to kind of shovel and kind of push off your car because it's just fluffy. So, but with that, it being fluffy and it being fluffy, the ratios are high, meaning that it's going to accumulate fast. And the water content doesn't take that much in a way for it to accumulate fast. So you have that factor. The snowfall rates, when we get into that banding of heavy snowfall rates, it's going to come down hard. It's going to come down fast, fast, fast. It's going to accumulate fast. This is before any sleet starts to come into the picture. Before any sleet starts coming into the picture. That's Baltimore, DC, Philadelphia, New Jersey, and New York City. Okay? So, yes. Will there be sleet? Yes. Somewhere, yes. There will be sleet. Of course. Why do we say of course? Because we're dealing with a lot of coordinate. The coordinate is in place. With this type of track or a Miller B, what they call a Miller B storm system, which will explain that on another time, the difference between a Miller A and a Miller B winter storm system, is that the totals of snow is impacted by one, it being all snow or it being some mix and precipitation. The totals are going down, some Khadija says. No, well, if one believes in some of the guidance, see, that's why it's difficult to put that out there in terms of totals going down or up at this point of time. At this point of time, it's guaranteed that everyone from Philadelphia to New York City is going to get at least 6 inches of snow. That's a fact. There's no doubt. There is no doubt. And 6 to 10 is reasonable for Philadelphia to New York City. That's no doubt. That's no doubt. 6 to 10 inches of snow is reasonable in the cities of, repeat, in Philadelphia and New York City. That's no doubt. Easily 6 inches plus. Because remember, it's going to start snowing, and when it starts snowing, it's going to snow fast. Fast. 1 to 3 inches per hour. This is no doubt. Yes, I'm saying. And then once that happens, the high end, you're going to get that before it even starts to sleet in Philadelphia and New York City. So you may already have, by the time the atmosphere on the 5,000, 7,000 feet layer of the atmosphere uh, warms up or gets the spike in warm air or warm invection into the storm, by that time you probably already have 8 to 12 inches of snow on the ground already. That's it. You already have achieved the high end already. You know what I'm saying? That's done, right? You already achieved the high end already, right? So once you achieve the high end already, then you get sleet on top of that. Now, certain guidance of computer models always all over the place. They were all over the place. They were all over the place leading up to the storm. Originally, they said North Carolina was going to get a foot plus in Winston-Salem, Charlotte, Greensboro, a foot of snow. This was 3 days. This was like 3 days, 4 days ago. So it said a foot of snow, right? I said, wait a minute. This sounds, I want to say sounds good to be true, but not necessarily. You said give it some time to really think about that, right? So when things change all the time in the business line of business, is always things change 24/7, 366 days of the year. Is no telling what may happen. Allah knows best. This is the nature of this business. The nature of this business is to give information that allows people to prepare as much as possible, without scaring people to their wits' end to where they start pulling out their hair, you know? And, you know, I think most people should be at this point prepared, and already bunkered down already. At this point, it's already too late for any last minute preparations in the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast region. That's done. That preparation time is over. I mean, I think at this point, it's with the solid. We're I'm sticking to the the uh the snow. It being snow here in the Northeast Mid-Atlantic region. I think Connecticut is going to be a winner. I think Connecticut is going to be a winner without a doubt. Connecticut, you will get a foot easily, no question, no doubt, no sleep. Northern Central Connecticut, a winner. 12 to 15 inches, no doubt. No doubt. And I think that's doable in Connecticut. I think it's also doable in the Hudson Valley. I think it's very doable in that area. But I also think it should be monitored when we start talking about Boston too. I think Boston is a winner too. But I want to draw attention to why now is no sense of looking at bigger models. Those are out. The bigger models is what brought us to this point. This point now is about watching how the radar is filling in, what the radar is doing, the upper levels of the atmosphere, what is going on up there. Now it becomes a little more atmospheric. It becomes a little more technical in terms of what's going on in the upper levels of the atmosphere versus what's going on the surface. That's when now forget about looking at the American model, looking at the European. Those are done. That's done. That's a done deal. That got us to this point. No need to look at it no more because, to be honest, it doesn't have. Not to say it has no merit. The value of looking at it now serves no purpose. So right now we're dealing with what's on the radar, what's happening with the upper levels of the atmosphere, and what's happening at the surface. That's it. And maybe some of the short range models, which right now we're in the short range models, right? That's what we're looking at right now. We're looking at If there's sleet, do we get the warm air invection, the spike, that spike of warm air invection to the storm, which will allow the snow to change to sleet. At 18 degrees in New York City, you could have a period of sleet at 18 degrees. Excuse me. It's not about what's happening on the surface. It's about what's happening on the upper levels of the atmosphere that is the basis. Because the upper level of the atmosphere at 7,000 feet is warmer than what's at the surface. It's going to fall or come down, and then when it comes down as rain, it's going to freeze and become freezing rain at the surface. This is why places like Charlotte, Greensboro, Winston-Salem is going to deal with a long duration of ice. It is because of the fact that it's not because it's not cold enough for snow. It is because of that spike in the upper levels of the atmosphere that it's producing a thin layer of cold, just thin enough to when it falls, it sticks as ice, freezing rain or sleet. There is some guidance of computer models to suggest in the city of Philadelphia, for example, you would get your 8 to 12 inches of snow in Philadelphia, and they get 2 inches of sleet on top of 8 to 12 inches of snow. 2 inches of sleet, up to 2 inches of sleet. Now, 2 inches of sleet is a lot. If that was to play out, that's a lot of sleet. And what happens when you have sleet on top of snow, especially fluffy snow, which is what is expected here in this part of the country, the Northeast, New England region, the sleet will compact with the sleet is going to compact with the snow, and it's going to make it harder to get off your cars. It's going to make it harder to shovel because the ice will then melt, will then compact with the fluffy snow, and it's going to make it hard. It's going to be like a glunk. It's going to be hard. It's going to be more weightier. It's going to be more water content to shovel. This is why right now, some people in some neighborhoods, we have a report of people putting plastic on their cars, a thin layer of plastic on their cars, on their windshields, their windshields of their car, the windows of their cars, excuse me, on the windows of their cars, people are putting plastic. The plastic will provide some sort of like a thin layer. So when the snow starts to pile up, and then you have the sleet that comes out, it won't see the sleet won't stick to your your window, which makes you need a scraper. You need a scraper to scrape it off. It's not like snow; you can just push it off. You're gonna need a scraper. So instead of having to do all that manual work, you reduce some of the manual work by putting a thin layer of plastic on your car window. So then when it does fall, it makes it easier for you to push off your car. Kind of a genius idea. We'll see how it works for some people who've done it, who I've seen tonight do it on their cars. We'll see how that works. But I do think it's a good buffer for less of a way of manual work when it comes to cleaning off your car. So at this period of time, that's it's basically all operations of preparation is over. The period of time for prepping is done. At this point, if you should have gotten everything you need if you live in the Atlantic region, Northeast, if you live anywhere from Georgia to Maine, your preparation should be done. Well, maybe not to Maine. You'll have some time. You have a little more time tomorrow. In Boston, from Boston to Maine, you have a little more time to prep. Last minute prep. But for those living from Georgia to New York City, at this point, your prep time is over. There's no more prep. At this point, we are hunkered down. We are hopefully ready to go the length of this storm Sunday into Monday. And Monday will be cleanup day for everyone. Those recovering from the ice storm in the south, it might take longer than just Monday. Don't be surprised in the Atlantic South that it might take longer than Monday to recover. Just point that out there. It might take a little bit more just than Monday. It might take a couple more days just to fully just to get back to some level of normalcy in the Atlantic and South due to the of ice duration of ice, which is going to accumulate a lot, and it's going to cause treacherous travel, and the amount of power lines that could come down, the amount of power that we could lose, is something to keep in mind. Okay. Uh, Now, as far as warm up is concerned, Khadija, you asked a good question. Is it is it going to thaw out? Is it going to thaw out? The answer is depending on where you're at. Depending on what your location in the country for who's being impacted, it depends. If you're in the South, after about Tuesday, yeah, you'll be in the 40s. You'll thaw out. Same in the South, in the Texas and Oklahoma. Usually, those places don't stay well. Can't say they don't stay cold for long periods of time, but the thaws tend to happen a little faster. In this case, will happen a little faster in those areas. But if you're living here in the northeast of New England region, there will be no thaw. I will repeat. If you're living in the New England and northeast region, there will be no thaw. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We would not reach 30 degrees Fahrenheit during the daytime. Not even 30, 30. We're talking about teens to maybe hitting 27 degrees, 25 degrees Fahrenheit. We're talking about waking up in the morning, 6 degrees, single digits to teens every morning. So whatever falls between DC to Boston is not going nowhere for about a week, at least 5 to 7 days. So you'll be stuck with whatever is outside, and it's going to be iced. So it'll be basically ice. Okay. So just letting you folks know that it's not going to thaw out anytime soon. Let's see what other questions we have. Is Winston-Salem still on track for its projections? Yes. Excuse me. Winston-Salem is still on track. We discussed we discussed the triad being basically a skating rink almost, for lack of a better expression. We discussed the triad being a skating rink, turning into a skating rink, basically. And I'll show that one more time, actually, what that looks like for you guys. For those who just joined us, I'll show you what it looks like. 1 second. Let's bring this back on the screen. All right. Here we go. So here's the problem. Nope. Bring this back. Oh, let me see. Let me turn the camera. Oh, here we go. Here we go. All right. Here's the problem. That dark pink color, this dark pink color where my cursor is at. Dark pink, trouble. That includes Charlotte, includes Greensboro, Raleigh, Durham, Winston-Salem, all those Rocky Mount, all the in between cities and towns. Central, Eastern North Carolina, dark pink. Down to northern South Carolina, northeastern Georgia. This is high chance, high chance, high confidence that you will see more than a 1/4 of inch of ice. A quarter of an inch is on the low end. of the spectrum. I think, in this area here in the triad, you definitely see a quarter of an inch of ice, but you probably see two to three quarters of an inch in some places, which is again, as expressed earlier, any amount of ice from a quarter to an inch to even to three quarters of an inch of ice is more than enough to cause treacherous travel, driving and walking. Um, uh, you know, it's just gonna be very icy. I think the inch of ice situation is going to definitely be. This is definitely shipping up. The inch of ice is Tupelo, northern Mississippi. That's going to be a major. I mean, both areas a major ice storm, regardless. But somebody here in northern Mississippi and getting into Tennessee is easily going to get an inch of ice. So between this area here and this area here, you're going to deal with an icy situation, no doubt. And we're still on tap for it. We're still on tap for it. We're still on tap. So, and high confidence too for that. High confidence. Let me scroll down here real quick before we end. And this was going to look like. This was going to look like. This was going to look like tomorrow, overnight tonight, but especially tomorrow, Sunday. Pink. That's freezing rain. Charlotte, Winston-Salem, Greensboro, Raleigh-Durham. No doubt, it's going to be an ice affair overnight tonight. The radar's going to start filling up. When you wake up tomorrow, it's going to be a very long period of ice. A very long period of ice. This is, like I said, it's a textbook situation when you have cold air coming down the Appalachian Mountains like this, and just what they call damming. It's not going to go anywhere. So that's why it said it's not so much. It's so much that so much moisture available at this point, and that moisture is running over that cold air, and that cold air is not going nowhere. It's just going to be a very long period of ice for a very long period of time. Freezing rain, very long period of freezing rain. So this tomorrow you're just gonna be iced in, basically. You're gonna be iced in Winston-Salem. So I hope everyone's prepared. I really hope everyone's prepared and has gotten all their things ready in anticipation for this situation. Again, we hope that you all are safe where you're at. We hope that you are safe where you're at. And I'm looking at, somebody, yep. Oh, we'll see. We hope that you all are, again, prepared, and we'll stay abreast to, ooh, yeah. So the power outages are coming in right now. Yeah, and this probably is going to get even worse. But the data is starting to come in now as we speak. And as I mentioned, northern Louisiana, Mississippi, northern Mississippi, where I said that it's going to be at least an inch of ice, they were already starting to lose power already. And it's yep, Monroe County, yep, just north of Jackson, Mississippi. Yeah, this is going to start filling in overnight. So this is only a matter of time before we start seeing this weather spread more eastward. And it's sleeting hard in Arkansas right now. Yep, that's a lot of sleet. So I hope everyone's prepared. And again, if you have any questions or comments or concerns, feel free to reach out. You can always comment here and leave a comment here, leave a question here as well. We always will look back and check your comments. And at this point, we're going to make one announcement. As always, we ask folks to share the live stream And but at this point, we thank you all for tuning in tonight for this community check-in slash on point weather report briefing for Winter Storm Fern, which is live. It's alive. It's going. It's going. It's going. It's moving. It's moving in the direction that's been anticipated for a couple of days now. It's doing its thing. It's doing its thing right now. So, and it's going to be a long period of time for a lot of people. Ice and snow is going to be a long period of time, long duration. Just getting started. Okay, let's not forget about the Patreon. To subscribe to the On Point Weather Report on Patreon. And if you want to become a paid subscriber, you can at $5 a month. And we thank those who are uh, um, our subscribers to the Patreon, where we produce content like this, but much more content as well on a basis. And we're looking to continue to produce content. So we ask that you subscribe early, subscribe now, and also get in on the paid subscription so you can get some exclusive content sent to your email box, like Imam Fareed Abdul Rahman from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. He's one of our early paid subscribers to the Patreon, and we thank you for it. And he's a witness to receiving exclusive content directly sent to him about his city, which allowed him to get prepared and get ready. So you could be one of those people. This is early. Like, we have much more announcements forthcoming, a much bigger project in the works as well. So get in now while it's in its early stages, and support it while it's in early stages as well. So we hope to have you on board on the Patreon as well. All right, that about does it for me. We thank you all for tuning in to your On Point Weather Report, and this tonight, Saturday night, 11:47 p.m. Thank you all for your time tonight. Be safe tonight and tomorrow. Go nowhere. Stay home. Stay with your families. Be with your families. Be with your loved ones. Spend time. Don't forget to call people as well. Check up on them as well, because the storm is a long duration. So check up on your folks, please. Make sure they're good. All right. All right, everyone. Be safe, and stay warm. It is brutally cold, and it's going to stay brutally cold for some people, even out of the storm after it's over, all said and done. All right. All right. Again, everyone. Peace and blessings. Have a great rest of your Saturday evening. Have a great Sunday, and we will see you, God willing, inshallah, on Sunday. Peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum.